Hey folks, welcome back. This is Lucid, and we are playing single player. We're playing Niflheim on a reasonably easy difficulty setting, and we're going to talk through how to play the game as if we were kind of a new player. And we were playing, like I said, Niflheim, which is a cold-themed nation. Last turn, we recruited a few Nifl giants. We didn't get any commanders because we didn't have money. And at the beginning, units are more important than... It depends. There's a bunch of things that people can disagree with, but at the beginning, units are pretty important for expanding. You can't expand with majors most of the time. Now, what we're going to do when we first get here is we're going to right-click on a bunch of different provinces, and we're going to see what is all in them. So this province, we can see the scouting report. It's got archers and light infantry. This is really easy. This province, it has militia, heavy cav, and light cav. Heavy cav is one of the things you have to look out for. Heavy cav is very hard, depending on what you've got. It's going to be a little less hard for giants because they're not going to one-hit kill us. But a lot of normal units that will come up and one-hit kill you. This has militia and light infantry. This has slingers, war elephants, and heavy infantry. This would be really hard, except we have really big units. And it turns out Nifl Jarls, or Nifl giants, are very good against elephants. So, we choose where we want to expand. Now, the idea behind expansion is a bunch of other enemy AI players have spawned at different places in the map. And we need to go out and claim as many of the territories as we can before they get their dirty hands on it. Now, the independents here do not move around. These are basically stationary guardians, like local tribes people, basically, of all of these regions. And we need to come bring them under our beneficent rule. So, what we want to look for is... Now, let's look at Shaggy real quick. Now, Shaggy starts combat with 1d6 Jotun wolves at his side. And if he expands on a place where I have these yellow borders, then basically... And I can't remember if these things are what size they are. I think they're size 4. If he expands into a province we have Dominion in, then all the units, like, he's going to be blessed, and the sacred, or these Jotun wolves, which are also sacred, are going to be blessed. So we're going to send him out. I think we're going to send... I think we'll be able to handle this way. I think we just put... one thing I didn't cover is we made this guy our prophet last turn. The way you do it is you can click here where it says defend or whatever the command this guy's doing. You click here and it's going to bring up the menu. The other way to do it is you hit spacebar. And this is going to bring up the menu for that unit. Under sacred, if you haven't made a prophet yet, there's going to be an option to become prophet. And that's what we clicked on this guy last turn. I think I did it automatically, didn't really talk about it. What that does is it makes him a holy 3. If they start as a holy 3, it makes them a holy 4. But anyway, it makes them a holy 3, and that allows you to do divine blessing, which is going to... all your sacred units, in order for them to get the benefit of their bless, they actually have to be blessed by a priest. And that's what this guy is going to do, because he is now a big honking priest. He is the prophet of Shaggy Dog. I think we're going to try running him into the elephants. And we're going to do hold and attack and then hold and fire. And we're going to put this guy on hold and attack large and hold and fire large. And what's going to happen is the elephants are going to run out in front, and then hopefully they run smack into my Nifl giants, and then they stop, and then we kill them. And the way battles work is the enemy is going to be in some formation. We get to put our guys where we want. This is towards the front. We're putting our guys towards the back. The reason we're putting them towards the back is so that the elephants will separate from the infantry. And then, yeah, the battle we don't have any control of, aside from setting up the scripting at the beginning. It's going to play out, as we'll see. Okay, and now we get to choose where we're going to go. This is a good path for us to send our god in, because we know we're at least going to expand up here potentially next turn. So we're going to do this, and all we're going to do... we need to pick our research priorities, too. I think we're going to hit enchantment 2 first. And maybe a bit of alteration. And we're a little poor still. I forget how many of these guys you can get a month. Limited recruitment? I can't remember. I think we'll get... Oh no, it makes me run out of resources. Okay, I think we're gonna keep doing what we were doing. Okay, so this guy, we don't really have much we can cast, so we're actually just going to run forward and attack. We're going to let our wolves get a little bit ahead of us, and then we're going to run forward and attack. And that will hopefully all work out fine. So we're going to hit in turn. E is the hotkey for that. I did that without clicking the button. And let me actually come back. So this is the message board, and it's going to show you all the things you have coming up for that turn. And yeah, so you can click here, and it will show you the battle report. Or you can click here and view battle and not ruin the surprise very much, and you can actually watch what happens. So there's a cloud mage here, which actually, normally there's not mages like this in provinces, so this guy's kind of sneaky. I think I may want my god to just run in at the start. But you can see him and his doggos are very scary. These guys, because they're blessed, actually have pretty high defense skill. They do go berserk, and once they're berserk, I think this guy's berserk, because once they get damaged and they're berserk, they're never going to run. They're going to keep fighting for the rest of combat. But it does kind of dumpster their defense. When you go berserk, you lose defense, but you gain attack. So in that way, it's not great when combined with a defense bless. Because typically with defense, you want to have a lot of defense. Here we're running into the elephants. Let's see how big of a mistake we made. Okay. Normally you have to be really careful with elephants, but having size 6 units, especially big angry size 6 giants, kind of changes some of that calculus. Now, when you watch it, I'll show you it again. You're not going to see the battle go that fast. I'll show you the time controls. So up here, you can pause. You can have go at half speed. You can have go at normal speed. And you can have go at fast forward. Fast forward, this one, is a pretty good speed to watch most battles at. I feel like normal can be really slow. But if you're pretty stoked and you actually want to like watch all the moves, normal is a speed at which you can kind of see everything happening. Fast forward, you get to see the general trends, and then super fast forward, it's a way to more just kind of see the outcome. So you can see I can't even talk. What's happened here is the elephants, when they run into a size 6 guy, they can't trample him, because elephants are trampling units, which means they run over and they stomp whoever they're running up against. But because these guys are just as big as the elephants are, they can't trample them. And that's actually going to block them from running past these big giants and trampling all these guys who are smaller. They're only size 4. It's going to block them from trampling all the smaller guys behind them. And then this elephant has run. He's scared. This elephant's run. And they're all going to try to haul ass out of here. And our guys come up and smack them. So that's how that battle went. Now, one thing we haven't talked about is province defense. And basically, once you've conquered a province, your flag is going to be on top of it. And if you can imagine, if anybody just sent any tiny military squad here, they could come and take all of your stuff. And it would be really annoying if you had to position your own military things in each province, because it takes you kind of a while to build military stuff. And you would get in this situation where you really can't defend much from even small enemy raids because you can't produce much. And the way Illwinter has kind of dealt with this is they've added something, province defense, which you can add gold, and the more gold you add, it becomes increasingly expensive. So like when you're at, if you look at my gold left, to do the first thing, to go from this to 1, it only costs 1 gold. To go from this to 2, it only costs 2 gold. And every time it goes up by the amount of province defense you have that goes in. So the cost goes up kind of sort of exponentially, and not quite exponentially, but, you know, sort of. and the number of troops you get goes up linearly. So anyway, you can figure out how much you're going to put in. We'll put in 10. A lot of times you put in 6. But 10 is going to give us unrest reduction, and hopefully we don't get punished by our misfortune scales, which tend to cause bad events to happen, like us to get attacked randomly. And now we have different places we can go. I think we're going to send Shaggy up this way, and I think we're going to have him run in and attack closest. We're not going to have him do anything. And we're getting another round of these guys, and they should be able to expand if I can afford to get a preacher to lead them. Okay, we're just barely going to have a preacher to lead these guys. Okay, and now it's summer, so we have to be careful. We are not expanding in the cold, so our big frost giants actually aren't that strong. This is a weird pop type where there's only 4 commanders. I don't remember how that happens. It's kind of a bug. This would actually be hard for us. That would be hard. Is there anything that's cold? This would be heat. What we may do, this is a hard province, and we may come down here and take this. I'm a little cautious about sending these guys out in heat. We could take this for sure. We could probably take this too. Archers and light infantry. Okay, we're going to do the archers and light infantry. And we're going to take it. This province is going to be a little tricky with the heavy cav, as I mentioned earlier. So one of the things you'll just, the first few times you play the game, you're not going to really know what can take what, and you're probably going to want to have bigger expansion squads rather than smaller when you're first starting, because you're going to make more mistakes. Or you're not going to know how. The trick with the expansion is you want to take as many provinces as you can with as fewer units as you can. But the more you spend, like the bigger the parties, the more safe it is for you to take provinces, the fewer provinces you're going to get in a given amount of time. And so it's like a race to see how many of these provinces you can get. And to win that race, you normally need to expand with like just the bare minimum of stuff you can. And if you're a new player, you don't really know what that minimum is. So you end up, oh, you know what I should do? We should do a little bit less PD here so that I actually have money to buy some troops. We're going to go to 6 instead of 10, and that will allow me to buy... Okay, we'll go to 10 in one of these. And that will allow me to buy another troop to go with this first army. But anyway, that's kind of the game. But if you're a little too aggressive, you can start having losses. Like you start losing guys in your army. Here, I don't think we lost any. Oh, we lost one guy. So we had some attrition. But the more attrition you have, the slower you can expand. So you have to balance risk of attrition versus speed. And we're going to be ready to send our next party out next turn. So we're going to go ahead and intern. And now Shaggy is running in with all of his wolf friends. And what's nice is because they go berserk, when they get hit, a lot of times things will get hit and they get scared and they run. These guys, no sir. Okay, he got hit kind of hard for 12 damage, but he regens every turn because we took regeneration in our bless. We're going to regen 10% of our hit points every turn, so 15. And we only have one attack, which is not great. But there we go. We were successful. Here we're going to hit this archery province. They've got some archers. And now this guy got lit up pretty hard. He did not get an affliction. We've got some of our guys that did get an affliction. That's what this heart is. He's weakened, so he has -4 strength, which means he's not going to hit as hard. Now, a normal human unit, I haven't really talked about stats much. A normal human unit is going to have 10 hit points, 10 attack, and 10 defense, and then some protection based on their armor. 10 protection would be kind of normal too. Like 10 is a kind of normal number, and they're normally size 2, and they'll normally have 10 morale, 10 magic resistance. 10 is kind of the normal thing. Our guys, I can get one without an affliction. God, they're all afflicted. Our guys, these are size 4. They have 20 strength, so twice as much. They have about normal protection. The protection doesn't really scale up with size, nor does attack and defense necessarily. So they have pretty normal attack and defense, but abnormal strength and abnormal hit points. They have 3 times the hit points. So what's nice about that is they can usually take a few shots in expansion and not die. You'll have less attrition. Whereas things with human-sized hit points will tend to take more attrition. Like they'll get hit to the point where they're dead, and then you can't expand with them anymore. This will be a risky expansion. We could potentially go down here. Let's load this guy up. Hold an attack closest, and we'll have this guy bless them. And I think we're going to take this hard province out right now. And normally we're going to have these guys on hold and attack. Because they're coming into a province with my god, the god is going to automatically bless at the start of combat all sacreds. So we're going to have them jump in here. And we'll fix them up with their script later. Oh, we've got another easy province here with militia and archer. Militia and archer are easy things, so we're going to go ahead and take this. And over here, we're going to go ahead and add a bit more province defense. We're trying to put at least 6 in all our provinces. One thing I didn't talk about is the amount of resources you get is based on the scales you took. But forts also draw resources from surrounding lands. So as we conquer all of the provinces that are adjacent to our cap circle, we get more resources. And that's going to allow us to recruit more troops. You can see the recruit. We're constrained by our gold, by our resources, and by our recruitment points. So we need to go ahead and wrong temperature. I guess we can only get as many of these as we have cold scales. That's what it looks like. Okay, we're going to get some of these guys. And we still haven't gotten any mages yet, which is a little sad. But this is probably okay. And after this, we can split up and do... I have the feeling... I'm not sure where I want to send my god. I think we can take this, but I'm not sure. In barbarians, over here we have 60 barbarians. These hit really hard. Certain things like archers, barbarians have very high damage attacks but very low armor. So if you have things like archers on your side, they tend to tear up barbarians. But if you don't, if you have a small squad of strong dudes like this, they get ripped apart by barbarians. So we have to be really careful of that. And I think we're going to end turn. And we had a crippled unit die. If you get an affliction where you're crippled, there's a chance they die when moving from one province to another. We don't want to get an affliction on our god. Okay, we didn't. He got smacked pretty hard, but let's watch that again. That happened kind of quickly. So this is the heavy cav, and what makes heavy cav hard is they have a lance. So these are all the weapons, these are the armor. The lance, it only is really effective for the first turn of combat. You can see this weapon's only used once during combat, and it gets a charge bonus. You can see charge bonus for first strike, which means it's going to have a very high attack score and a very high damage roll, in addition to what you see here. This is like the base stat, but then on top of this, you have to add additional attack and additional damage for the first round of combat. So you watch when they roll in here, they're going to just light somebody up. So we got hit for a lot of damage. We got hit for like 30-something damage, which if they did that every turn, we could die. But they've kind of expended their lances now. But they've killed... So far, we haven't lost any of our pet wolves that came with us, and they already killed 2 of them. So this is why you don't want to... Like, we could potentially die here if we didn't have this backup from the army. Okay, and then we're expanding here with our giants. We're about to cover the land in frost. Now this guy's gone out on his own. That's normally a good way to die. Yeah, he just dies. You don't really want to get separated from your buddies in war. So we lost one guy here. I don't think we lost anybody here. The hotkeys I'm using... if you click on a battle, like on a province where there's a battle, you see there's the swords, and it's... You can hit C, which will bring up the combat report, or you can hit V, which will bring up the battle. And those are the hotkeys I'm using. The other way to do it is you can hit M, or you can go over here and you can click messages, read messages, and then you can go click on the view battle if you want to pull this back up once you've gotten out of it. You know what I kind of want to do? I want to come see what's in this throne. Oh, this is a farmland. Lanka is up here. Oh, goodness. I'm going to zoom out here. You can use your mouse wheel to zoom in and out. I'm going to give you guys a seizure. Where do we want to go? First of all, it's heat. It's summer still, so we have heat scales. Our Nephil giants are not terribly strong, but we should be able to roll into these heavy infantry here. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put 6 province defense in all the provinces we conquered. Okay, we're at 2. We're going to be able to send out another expansion party this turn. But I have to have enough money to get this guy. Okay. And yeah, so we're going to be able to expand again. I think what we'll do... Deer Tribe. These are both easy provinces, but they both have kind of a lot of units inside of them. This is Cold 1. This is Cold 1. So we have to make a decision on, do we send our god and this party together? If we send our god and this party together, we will, without a doubt, conquer any of these provinces without any losses, probably. If we split them up, we stand to expand twice as fast, but there's a chance our god could die. Or get an affliction. I think what we'll do is we're going to hit this one, and then next turn I'll probably hit this one with my army, and I'm probably going to send my god back here. Let's go see if we can figure out what Lanka's Bless is. We're also going to try to ping this throne. I don't have any money. All right, I think that will be that. So we'll go ahead and do this next turn. I'll probably do one more turn, and that will be it for this episode. Uh-oh, they've gotten separated. Fortunately, our giant got hit a lot, but fortunately he's regenning through it all, and his shield is broken. That's not good. Now, one of the things I didn't mention about these giants is they also have a chill aura, and you can see how these guys have turned to blue. He's actually gotten fatigued out, and if you stand next to a Nephil giant and you don't have cold resistance, our troops have cold resistance, If you stand next to an evil giant, you don't have cold resistance. You basically get put to sleep. It's a very strong effect if you don't have cold resistance. Our god is taking some abuse here. We lost all of our wolves. I don't know if we would have won that. Oh no, we have a couple wolves left. One wolf left. I don't know if we would have won that with just our wolves. And we have a bunch of expansion options still. Well, we found Lanka's capital. And we might go kill Lanka first. They might be our first war target. And these are Jade Amazons. Jade Amazons are a kind of special independent type. And you get a special mage here if you conquer them, which is very nice. We already get that the paths... Maybe we'll talk about magic at the beginning of next episode. But yeah, the paths that these guys give you on their mages are the same paths that we have on our mages as well. So they're not super valuable for Niflheim, but they're very valuable for other factions. So our god, this appears to not be that many. We're going to send our god over here alone. And we're going to send this guy, because it's now finally getting cold. We're going to send them down here. And what we need to do is we need to put them back, because they're no longer going to be automatically getting blessed. So we need to go put them in here basically with our commander. Now, unfortunately, you basically get effectively like a morale penalty where you're having to take morale checks if you have less than 5 guys in a square. So that's a risk we're going to be rolling with these dudes, but we should be okay. And we have our next expansion party. And these guys are basically going to get the same treatment here with blessing, 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 and then hold an attack. And we're going to send them over here and take this province, the last province on our cap circle. And we want to take this. Now, because it's adjacent to Lanka, there's a chance we're going to run into a Lankan army when we attack this. So it's a little risky. Heavy infantry and slingers. This will be fighting in neutral temperature. This will be in cold, but this is I think this is going to be the easier fight for me, but it's only, I don't know. This army is getting a little petered out. Now, when the army's this far away, you have to make a decision. Is it worth it to keep expanding, or do I want to have them do the walk of shame back home? And normally the answer is take, roll the dice, basically. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a Sermon of Courage here, which is going to increase the morale of... basically, it's an area of effect morale boost, which is going to hit these guys and make them less likely to run. So I'm a little worried that may happen here. And it's also time we start thinking about our first fort. And let's take a look. I'm going to hit F1, which is going to bring up a list of all our provinces. We can look at the income. Ideally, this would be a good first fort. Or this. Usually you want to do it in like a farmland place that has a lot of income. We don't really have any of those yet. But we could potentially get one. Early fall. We're going to roll the dice on this one, okay, guys? Highly likely this isn't going to work, but... Okay, we got another Nifl Giant here. Very soon we're going to be able to start getting mages. And generally, you're going to want to be getting mages in your capital. It's a call, though. If it's going to slow down expansion, you have to really make a decision. In this case, we're not going to get mages at the expense of expansion. But a lot of nations do not want to do this. And with that, I think we are going to... end the episode here, end the turn. So I will see you guys next time.